That was an amazing run. Nice. Oh my brain!
Goodness me!
Oh, are you serious?
X Games Real BMX is a video competition. In this event, 6 of the world's best BMX riders team up with the filmer of their choice and take to the streets to shoot a 90-second video part. These teams have 4 months to complete this task before submitting their videos to a panel of esteemed judges. These judges will cast their votes to determine which team takes home X Games gold. During this show, we'll take you behind the scenes with the crews to witness the filming process. The riders in Real BMX are Ricany, Kevin Peraza, Colin Verignac, Brad Sims, Tom Dugan, and Corey Martinez. These are their videos, and this is World of X Games Real BMX.
Hello and welcome to the World of X Games Real BMX 2018. I'm your host, Chris Doyle. Let's meet our respected panel of judges who will decide today's winners. First up, we have Dennis Enarsson. Dennis is considered to be one of the most well-rounded BMXers of all time. Responsible for some of the heaviest video parts of the last decade, Enarsson possesses a natural ability to move between professional BMX disciplines. A former Real BMX competitor, Enarsson's command of the bike is second to none. Next we have Scotty CRANMER. X Games prodigy Scotty CRANMER recently blazed a new path with his YouTube channel. Prior to that, he produced some of the craziest moves of the past decade. A 9-time X Games medalist, CRANMER recovered from a life-changing BMX crash in 2016 to become a source of inspiration to all far beyond the BMX realm. And our final judge, TREY Jones. Florida native TREY Jones is a pro BMXer that combines new school tech with an old school go-for-it attitude. A student of BMX past, Jones has a vast knowledge of BMX video history with the current skills to back it up. Just for this episode, we've asked him to wear shoes. Dennis, Scotty, thank you guys for being here. TREY, thank you for wearing a shirt today.
No problem, just for you, Chris.
Judges, let's talk about the importance of video parts in BMX. Dennis, let's start with you.
It's the thing that motivates kids to go ride every day. When I was a kid, that's all I did was watch BMX videos before we hit the skate park or the streets.
You're taking all of your hardest work over the past few years and combining it into something that's only 2 minutes long. Might not seem like a long time, but it takes a while just to get those few minutes of footage.
I think it's all about creativity when it comes to video parts. It's a rider showing what he is as a rider. It's showing where he's from and where he's taking his riding to.
Now, what are the essential ingredients to a good video part?
I think it's a combination of a rider showcasing that he can do everything, you know, from tech things to big things to everything.
I love when the filmer and the rider come together and it just makes this creation, because sometimes the riding's the best riding ever, but the song choice is wrong and the editing just doesn't line up. It's not going to be that masterpiece, you know. It takes a lot to make the perfect video part, not just riding.
It's where you're filming. You can come up with a completely different video vibe when you go and you film in a different country, in a different city. So many things go into play when it comes to making a great video.
Judges, we have 6 video parts. And before we watch each one, we're going to take a look behind the scenes to get to know the riders and their filmers. All right, let's start this thing off with our youngest competitor, Ricany, and his filmer, Vish.
I'm Ricany, I'm 22 years old and I live in Huntington Beach, California. Vish is just the OG panda.
Yo, what up? I'm Vish. I'm Ricany's filmer for Real BMX.
And yeah, I've just been working with him a lot over the past couple of years and I feel like we work well together. I live with him too, which makes me kind of aggravated being with him all day and then go home and I'm still with him, so I'm just like, damn it. No, I'm just kidding. So coming into this, I had a pretty solid list of tricks that I've wanted to do for the past couple of months. I was like, all right, it's time. And in the back of my head, I didn't process the reasons why I didn't do them. So I come to the spot and I'm like, all right, here we go, it's time to do this. And you have to mentally prepare yourself, okay, this is gonna take all day, I'm gonna fall a bunch, and I might not get it. With other video parts, that aren't being judged, if you're trying something, you could be like, oh, it's not working out. You know, I can skip this and downgrade the line a little bit. With a part like this, I feel like you have to get what you really want, which is a big mind game, you know, because you battle yourself all day and then you're battling your mind. And this is the first project where I've had like meltdowns where I like am about to lose my mind. Seriously, I'm not even kidding.
I know in the days where we've gone out and we've had a day of nothing, 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 and at the end of the day, we get something, I don't even remember all the nothings. Like, I don't remember how rough and bad and kicked out all this stuff was. When we got that clip right before the sun was going down, I was like, yeah, man, today was awesome. And I think that that's what's really cool about it. That one thing can change the whole thing, because that's what he's there for, that's what I'm there for, that's what everybody wants to see. That's how you collect it. It's just battles. It's just, you have to battle to get this stuff.
I want to put something together that I can look at and be like, that took me 10 hours and it was a nightmare, but I overcame it and we got the clip. If we get last place and me and Vish are stoked on it, that's cool with me. I'm Sean Ricany and this is my Real BMX video part.
All right, judges, that's a really good way to start this whole thing off. What do you think about Sean's riding? What do you think about his part?
Sean's a very technical rider, but he mixes in big tricks as well, and I think that video part was amazing.
That part gets me pumped to ride. As soon as it goes from that bar, crook 180, and Vish making all that music to the part, it goes so well together.
Did Vish play all those instruments and produce that music himself?
He plays every one of those instruments himself.
I love what Vish is doing. It's not the standard just computer graphic running across the screen. He makes all his own graphics and he has an idea for every shot that's going everywhere in between Sean's crazy clips. He has a really, really artistic side to his editing and filming, and that's something I really like.
Yeah, I really like Sean's part a lot. It was really good to see him doing stuff like the whip on the roof with the truck driver and riding off, because you don't really see Sean do very many like tricks like that. So yeah, it was really good to see Sean like mixing up.
The next clip is one of the most basic 2 small flat rails in a row, the Predator Ice manual double peg whip. It's just like, those are such different clips that you wouldn't see in the same part back to back like that, and it goes so well together somehow. Like, those are pretty standout to me.
My favorite clip that Sean did was definitely that tie ride up that huge set to tail up. Not only is it a massive rail and you gotta go really fast for it, but there's an aggressive kink at the bottom, which makes it that much more crazy.
Pretty sure no one's ever done that before, a switch crook to truck driver. And the fact that he did it not in a skate park, but he did it on street is really incredible. I really liked when he grinded up the triple kink rail to turn down, because a turn down is a very classic dirt jumping trick, and Sean usually goes for more bar spins or tail ups or something like that, like we see in the part. So it's really good to see him mix it up and do a turn down instead of a bar spin or a tail up or something along those lines.
Yeah, it definitely shows diversity a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll be right back with a video from Wild Child Tom Dugan and his filmer, DARRYL TOCCO. Let's jump right back into this with a video from Tom Dugan and his filmer, Real BMX veteran, DARRYL TOCCO.
I'm Tommy Dugan, 29 years old, and I live in Austin, Texas right now. I got the invite right at the tail end of an injury. I was blown away. Filming is just like how crazy you are, how crazy you can get, and that's every day. It's just like you have to feel like that every day, so that's what I love it.
I'm DARRYL TOCCO, and I am Tom Dugan's filmer for Real BMX. Tom's probably one of the premier like bull riders in the world, and people forget like that he's this savage street rider. Like I swear he can take an impact better than just about anyone I've ever seen.
You know, whatever I'm riding at the moment, it's just like obviously I'm loving it so much, you know, because this is what I do.
Yeah, most of the stuff Tom is looking at is like really sketchy and dangerous.
Having a deadline definitely helped, like the stress, like fade away and just like really dive into the riding. You get up on a scary spot and it's just like, it helps you push it over because you just like, you know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and like it kind of helped in that aspect of like getting scarier things done that I wouldn't usually do.
I think the most challenging part of filming with Tom is once he's up there, he wants to go immediately. Filming that stuff, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have had more time to set up or like look at this differently, but you kind of just have to keep up with Tom because he's the star. I have to make sure I'm ready before he's up there. Because once he's up there, it's like, he doesn't even look, he just goes. Once he decides on something, there could be a state trooper at the bottom waiting for him, like he's gonna do it. His mind is so one-tracked when it comes to setups that he's not gonna let anybody stop him.
That's better than any check that I could ask for, is like how good it feels finishing something that you really put your heart into. I'm Tom Dugan, and this is my Real BMX video part.
Quite the contrast to the last video that we just saw. What are your thoughts about Dugan's part?
High energy on that one. It's amazing to see how many times he was on a roof jumping off. His riding is so aggressive and it's what he's known for, and it was really cool to see.
What do you guys think he was thinking with that first clip where he's trying to gap into that bank and clearly his angle's off, his bike kind of lands up the bank, he blows out a tire. What was going through Tom's head there?
I don't think much was.
Yeah, I love that banger. It's a downhill roof. That bank is so small to land in, so you don't want a lot of speed, but it's like he puts his feet on the pedals and almost with just barely even giving it a little ratchet crank, almost overclears that bank. Really impressed by that.
My favorite clip was Tom going up off of that angled bank, and he went and wall rode over the car park. And it's amazing because it's a massive drop. It had to have been about 10 or 12 feet, and he lands abrupt, hard as could be. And Tom's a skinny guy. He's landing down there with so much force, and he's able to hold on. I mean, that guy is tough as nails.
Well, what about when he jumps off the roof and he has to tuck in his elbows between the two trees?
I really like DARRYL's style of filming. He does a great job of showing spots like perfectly, showing each spot and making sure you know how gnarly it really is.
One of the best clips in the video is when he rides down the ledge and then gaps to the other ledge. If you can't tell, there's a really harsh kink on it. And when you're pointing down like this and you have to jump out, and really, really badly with casing on the next one or something like that. That clip is really, really impressive. And also the 360 off of what appears to be like a highway down like a 10-foot drop into a very steep bank. A lot could go wrong there.
Not a lot of technical aspects to his riding. It's all about just like going big drops like we saw. Do you think in the overall score this could hurt him a little bit?
You know, we want to see variety when we're looking at these videos. We want to see a rider that's going to give us a broad plane of different kinds of approach to things. Tom spent a lot of time on roofs. It's really cool to see, but we're looking for the best well-rounded video part.
When we return, we'll check out what Colin Verignac and his filmer Dobie produced this year. Welcome back to the world of X Games Real BMX. Let's take a look at what West Coast transplant Colin Varignac and his filmer Dobie created.
My name is Colin Varignac. I'm 26 years old and I live in San Diego, California. I picked Dobie as my filmer for a number of reasons. I'm a huge fan of Dobie's work. It's cool to have somebody who's just as enthusiastic and passionate about getting the footage as I am about getting the footage. You know, he wants to film it just as perfect as I want to do the trick.
For the rider to ride at his full potential, there has to be a trust with the filmer, because if he's going to put his all into it, you know, he wants it to look the best it can be.
To be able to work with somebody like Dobie and come up with something that I feel passionate about, he feels passionate about, and share that with you guys, I mean, it's just an honor. For this project specifically, I wanted to make it back to the East Coast, not only because it's where I grew up, it's where I love to ride, but because a lot of the stair sets, the hand railings are, you know, hundreds of years old. This stuff has been there for a long time. It was built a lot different. It has a completely different feel when it comes to street riding than the West Coast does. There are a lot of really awesome spots out here in Southern California, but a lot of them are perfect. They're newer. They look really similar to other spots that are out here.
Where Colin felt that the spots on the East Coast really represented his riding style, so it was awesome to go out there and knock off some spots off the list that Colin's been wanting to do for a while.
So I think being able to get that footage on the East Coast really helps make my part feel more complete. And you guys watching this at home are probably thinking, oh, 4 months to film a minute and a half, that's nothing, you know, that's easy. But the reality of it is you can go out for 2-3 days, you won't get anything, and you're out trying, you're putting your body through so much abuse. It can be hard to stay focused and stay motivated when sometimes, you know, things don't work out, things don't go according to plan.
It's really cool to see how much passion and determination Colin has. If he visualizes something, he's gonna go get it. And sometimes it doesn't work out, and he's willing to come back as hard as it is to get beat up at one spot and be willing to come back the next day.
You kind of just need to keep thinking about the end goal and just keep working every day. If you're out working every day, you're out trying to do what you want to do, you're going to be happy. You're going to get the stuff done you want to get done. I'm Colin Varignac, and this is my Real BMX video part.
What are you guys' thoughts on Colin's video part?
Colin's part was just flat out awesome. It's cool to see that he has California clips and East Coast clips, everything from super technical riding to burly riding. This part might be holding it down for #1 for me right now.
One of the craziest tricks that's in that part is the fakie hop over that guardrail into the other parking lot. It's just unreal that he went through that little tunnel right there and he 180'd and then timed it perfectly, pulled the back end up, cleared that thing. There's so much that could go wrong. Like the risk and the reward right there goes back and forth. But not only was the trick insane, but Dobie did such a good job explaining it by getting that aerial shot above it too.
I think they worked really well, Dobie and Colin, with just making it a straightforward, not too many crazy editing ideas or anything. It's just like good song, amazing riding, straight to the point. Yeah, there was throughout that whole thing a lot of game-changing tricks that you weren't expecting. The up switch, gap, up rail switch, over switch, hard 180. He does a 180 backwards crooked grind, half cab bar spin, and then he lands manual 180, and it's just, you do not expect that. And that's what you need to have a breakthrough video part nowadays, is you want to not expect what the person's doing. In almost every clip, I wasn't expecting it.
I really like the truck driver down the big block stairs, and you think like, wow, that's a big truck driver. And then he just starts pedaling, and he goes up the rail to wall ride. That was, for me personally, one of my favorite clips.
He completely showed up and delivered such an amazing part. There were so many clips in there that would scare so many riders. And like, he did that wall ride to pegs. Like, I can only imagine the trial and error that went into that.
No sloppiness, like that 3-whip and then the 180 off the roof, that 180 is huge. You could take like the sloppiest rollout ever, but he just handled that. He's like a mix between Garrett and Nathan. He's like the hybrid of both those guys, where he has like whips and bars that are just like lightning speed like Garrett, and then that nose bonk gap to ice, like that's like some Nathan territory stuff, you know, and those are the 2 winners from the last 2 years, and he's right, he's with those guys, you know, he's insane.
I don't think that we've really seen Colin's full potential until this video part. I think that I was honestly shocked when I saw a lot of the clips, and I mean, overall impression is plays a big part in this video contest.
But all of the clips that were in that video were so progressive. Colin, I think he's showing the world right now that he is one of the top BMX riders in the world. Unreal riding from Colin, and great job on Dobie as well.
All right, judges, we're halfway through the lineup. What are your thoughts so far?
Man, Colin's video just legitimately blew my mind. Riding was amazing. I'm really excited to see how he does.
Colin's part was pretty amazing, but I mean, we also have Corey Martinez and Brad Sims coming up, so I mean, anything can change.
Yeah, all 3 of those parts were insane, but right now I think Colin is shining a little bit above the rest.
Well, you've heard it from our judges. We have some heavy hitters yet to come. We have videos from Brad Sims, Kevin Peraza, and Corey Martinez when we come back. Kevin Peraza has proven himself with gold medals in X Games Park and Dirt. Now let's see if he can hold his own in real BMX with his filmer, Wani Zarita.
Hey, I'm Kevin Peraza. I'm 23 years old and I'm from Tucson, Arizona. So I've been competing at X Games for 4 years. I ended up taking gold in Dirt the 3rd year in Austin, and then coming back to Minneapolis last year, I got a gold medal in Park. I'm the kind of rider that just likes to have fun on my bike. You know, I grew up in the era where I looked up to all my favorite riders, and they were riding everything, you know, and so now I'm blessed with this real BMX video part, and yeah, we're out here. So as far as filming, you need someone that you're comfortable with, someone that you can laugh with, someone that you can feel motivated with as well. You know, I chose Wani Zarita because we had worked on a video before for a previous contest, and I was very happy with our result, with like the whole video and like the whole project and just the whole vibe in general, like, and just the fact that he can speak Spanish, and my video part is being filmed in Hermosillo, Sonora, which is where my family's from, where my girlfriend's from, so it's cool to have him around where he can speak Spanish with my family and friends and get by as well in a different city, you know, and it's super cool just to have, you know, a friend there filming me and someone that I'm really into their work, you know, it's super cool. I feel comfortable, I'm ready, you know, and I feel motivated. I know he's gonna get the shot, so it's cool, yeah, I'm hyped.
Hi, I'm Wani Zarita. I'm from Santiago, Chile. I'm Kevin Peraza's real BMX filmer. I got a call from Kevin, and he's like, you wanna be on filming? I was mind blowing, I was shocked. I was like, damn, this is happening right now, like the biggest BMX like film contest. I mean, it's like mind blowing for me.
The whole reason for me filming in Hermosillo, Sonora in Mexico was it's just refreshing, you know, to see new spots, and that to me is BMX. I think filming in a different city, opening new doors and new spots for people that have never seen them, you know, and growing the sport in a different city and showing kids in that city or in Latin America or in Mexico that anything's possible, you know. I'm a kid from Tucson, Arizona with a big dream, and now we're filming for this X Games BMX part, so anything's possible. I'm Kevin Peraza, and this is my X Games Real BMX video part.
All right, get it, boy. You got it.
Certainly the type of riding that we've come to expect from a two-time X Games gold medalist in different BMX disciplines.
Yeah, I think him and Wani did a really good job. It's his first full street part, I'm pretty sure, and then Wani's first major project, so it's cool to see. It's kind of like they're like the rookie team, you know, and they did a really good job.
I really liked that the way the video came together and all the spots that they went to go ride, because they went to Mexico when they filmed a lot of it, so there's a lot of bright colors, and I think it creates a really cool vibe for the video.
Well, let's talk a little bit about trick variety. We all know Kevin has a ton of tricks. What do you think about the tricks that he chose to film for his video part?
You know, he can do the crazy backflip tricks, and the fact that he chose to do a classy trick like a 3-table, I thought that was a pretty good trick selection. And also on Wani's part, like he showed a few clips of, okay, he's going into this water park, he's going through the gate, he's finding the spot, you know, gives a little bit of a story, so I thought that was really cool.
As the video went on, there was a lot of similarity in a few of the tricks, and he was fitting in tail whips and 180 downside tail whips and decades like that. For the amount of spots that he was riding, I think a lot of them kind of turned into the same kind of style, when I wish there would have been a little bit more variety of Kevin's riding, because I know what he's capable of.
Kevin is so good. He has like an unlimited bag of tricks. And so that's just something you learn. Like, you know how many video parts we've filmed where it takes so long to figure out like what is gonna look good in the end, you know, and they did an amazing job, and Kevin's just gonna he has potential to make some of the best parts, I think. I really like that nose 180, half cab, nose manual truck driver. That was the second to last clip. In my opinion, I would have had that as the last clip because he had an up rail decade in his Vans Illustrated part, which is kind of, I think, goes to show like they're just getting into this whole thing, and that's just kind of like a little bit of a rookie move. Like the part was amazing, both those clips are amazing, but clip order does have a lot to do with things, and no one's doing nose manual trucks. I mean, only a couple people are doing the up rail decade too, but he had a really similar up rail decade in the last video part he came out with. And when you're progressing your parts, you kind of want to go off of each one. Other than that, you know, that nose manual truck, that's a game changer.
We'll be back after the break with a video from world traveler Brad Sims and his teammate Christian RIGAL. Next up is nomadic BMXer Brad Sims and past Real BMX medalist Christian RIGAL.
My name is Brad Sims. I'm 30 years old. I'm from Waldorf, Maryland. I ended up getting a really late start, 2 months to be exact, because things didn't pan out with my filmer. So I ended up asking Christian RIGAL to film me.
I'm Christian RIGAL, Brad Sims filmer for Real BMX.
One of the reasons I chose Christian is because he did a great job with the video last year. Him and Chad placed second. He's also like a human GPS when it comes to spots.
I was stoked when Brad hit me up about shooting Real BMX this year because I've always been into his riding, and you know, I feel like a lot of the footage that he's had over the years is always filmed by just some random person in a different country, and you know, I've always wanted to shoot with him because I think his riding and the things that he does should be, you know, shown properly. And you know, I'm very familiar and comfortable shooting with my friends, and that's usually who I work with. And although I've met Brad before, I've never really spent much time with him, and I'm not super familiar with his riding. So I think this will be a fun project to be able to, you know, get to know someone new and ride with him and shoot with him. And yeah, I think the section's going to be really rad.
The day I fly into San Diego, Christian picks me up and he steps out of his truck and he has a brace on his foot. And I look down at him and I'm thinking, what happened to your foot? He goes, oh, I fractured it the other day. And the first thing that runs through my mind is filmer number 2, I'm gonna have to go searching for a third filmer.
You know, I went to the hospital, got an x-ray, got a boot, got some pain pills, and you know, I was in the streets the next day. So yeah, it was an interesting week shooting with the boot.
The way I approach this video part is the same way I approach any other part, because I have never had more than a few weeks or a month to work on a project. So I don't really know how to go out any other way other than just to go out and film a clip. You know, 1 or 2 a day, or you know, a few a week. You know, that's how I'm going to go about doing it. So there's really no stress on my back. I'd be stressed if I had maybe 2 weeks. So I think it'll work out fine.
We're a little behind from where we start, but you know, in reality, we already, you know, I'm stoked on everything we've got, and I think it just makes us more eager and excited to get out there and be productive. And although we didn't have as much time as everybody else, I don't think you'll be able to tell a difference when you watch the video. And a late start never hurt anybody, so we'll get the party going.
I'm Brad Sims, and this is my Real BMX video part.
I think all of us were excited to see some new, fresh Brad Sims footage. What did you guys think about his part?
I was so excited to see Brad getting this opportunity and teaming up with Christian. I was really curious to see how it all went down. I thought it was great. One of my favorite clips is when he did the backwards grind on the rail and he landed and did manual 180 down the set. I thought that was really cool.
He's got everything from tech moves to riding off of roofs, doing feeble grind to 360 and riding off the roof. Yeah, this part has everything. The clip where he does the manual to rail hop, I mean, that's probably like an 8 to 10 foot drop. Most likely if you take the average bike rider there, they would just see the rail hop, but the fact that he looked way behind him and said, oh, I can start over here and do a manual and make it that much crazier, that like shows a big creativity aspect of it, and that's really, really, really cool to see.
On the white ledges, when he came up from the side, did a full 90-degree angle, and he jumped onto the slanted ledge, and then he gapped to feeble grind down the second stage. I thought that was absolutely insane.
All those lifestyle clips were kind of to show how Brad travels the world constantly. Like he had a cool little theme in the beginning and the clip of him on the train, and he had a nice direction going through the whole thing. Christian's definitely got a style of his own right now, and I'm digging it.
I mean, those could all been riding clips that you were able to throw in there. Do you think that it takes away?
Sometimes when you're trying to force something in there that's going to upset the rhythm of the video, it's a lot different, but Christian is one of the best out there, so he knew exactly how to present it right and make the feel of the video perfect.
Seeing Brad's riding in the hands of one of the most professional filmers was so good. Can't leave out the manual tap 180 at Ricany. That's like Brad Sims' signature trick. Most people don't even want to do that on a flat rail or something. That thing is huge.
That's like the most deadliest trick that you could do at that spot. He's the only person I've ever seen do that trick like well.
What did you guys think about the music and the overall vibe?
I thought it was a really unique song choice because it was a slower female voice. It made for like a mellower vibe, but the writing was so good that it almost made for like a triumphant feel to the part. It just made the impact that much heavier. Like sometimes you don't need heavy music to have a heavy impact. Sometimes the writing just speaks for itself. I would say the only thing that I would have done differently is the clip of him hopping on the parking garage to the rail. That was a little confusing on what was going on there. Maybe just like a fisheye shot from the top to kind of give it a little bit more of a view, but I mean, everything else was perfect, I think.
We have one video part left. Stay tuned for legendary street rider Corey Martinez and last year's gold medalist filmer, Peter Adam. Now's the time for our final video from legendary street rider Corey Martinez and his filmer Peter Adam, who took home the gold medal in 2017.
I'm Corey Martinez, I'm 35 years old, and I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I pretty much picked Pete because I knew that we were going to work together really well.
My name's Peter Adam, and I'm from Belfast in Northern Ireland. Corey and I have quite a long history. His first trip overseas back in 2000, I was there with him, filming him. And I filmed him almost every year since.
The whole thing actually makes sense, I guess, for me. I am more of like a video part kind of rider versus like an actual contest rider.
He came on the scene strong, 2 decades ago, and he puts out progressive video part after progressive video part after progressive video part. It's been his main focus in his riding career, video sections, so this is perfect for a person like him. He's definitely the veteran out of the lot. I like to say the most experienced. At this stage, he knows exactly what he needs to do to have a well-rounded video section.
8 out of 10 times that I go and try and film something, it's the first time I'm trying it. It's like trying a combo or like a trick that I've never done, but it's a perfect setup for it. So it's like I'm taking that idea and that thought to the spot and like, I wonder if this is possible. Let's try it. Let's see what happens.
With us living on opposite sides of the Atlantic, I think it did focus us a lot more. So we'd go on a 3-week trip, and it was like, that's what we did. That's all we did on that 3 weeks, film for this section. I think it was the first day of the first trip, first spot. Corey tried this crazy backwards rail up against a wall. Front peg slipped off, hit his head off the ground, and I thought that could be it over for our section. But a few days stretching later, we're back on it again.
So it's never easy, but that's part of it. That's part of the project, I guess. So like anytime you're filming a video project, you're always going to have hiccups along the way. Like honestly, like why I enjoy filming, it's like you give yourself a goal, you give yourself, ideas for something and working for that. Like the satisfaction of like riding away from a trick or an idea that you had, there's nothing like it. Like this is something that I live for those moments, honestly.
After
2 decades of video domination. His motivation is through the roof. He's like a 19-year-old. When all the elements line up, the weather's good, there's no security, there's no injuries. When he lands a trick that he's trying, you know, it's something really special.
I'm Corey Martinez, and this is my real BMX video part.
Wow, what more can you say about Corey Martinez? He's a legend in our sport, and you guys are the generation that probably grew up on a lot of Corey Martinez video parts. Give me your thoughts on that video part.
The little kid in me that used to watch Corey Martinez gets to judge him right now, and this is actually insane. I loved how creative they were together. They actually brought us back to Corey when he was riding back in 2001 by showing us that intro of Corey back on the old bike, you know, dressed like he used to, and how it just evolves and shows, you know, the transformation of him as a rider back then to how he is 15 years later.
It's really difficult to put a theme and an artistic twist on a 90-second video part, but they established a theme for the whole video, and I just thought it was one of the most creative themed videos of this whole competition, which says a lot.
That double peg to drop down the stairs, I think that's in Barcelona. That's maybe one of the bigger drops I've ever seen anyone take. He's already on like his 15th video part, and he's still one-upping himself. Usually people can keep upping themselves on tricks and stuff, but to be healthier and stronger than ever at 35 and making a part like this, it's just so motivational.
One of my favorite tricks was when he did the overgrind to back over on those seawalls in Barcelona. That completely just threw me for a loop on that one, and it was so solid, full commitment, and you could see it in his face, and that is as real as it can get.
Kind of a game changer trick that no one's even doing is the opposite 180 to over pegs, and then he cab manual 180 out too, just to like stomp on it. Like, I'm so good at this trick, I can control it and manual 180 out. Like,
progression still after 15 years, you know, that's truly amazing.
Well, let's talk a little bit about his banger. What made that so special?
That's paying homage to his Square One Wide Awake Nightmare part, which is one of his biggest groundbreaking parts of his career. In that part, his banger was up rail, abubica to backwards rail. In this one, he did up rail, abubica to switch backwards rail.
It almost turned into a little movie in a way, just knowing how they started it out at the intro and then he finished with a move that completely shows, you know, the evolution of his riding.
350 tries and 3 trips later, that's dedication. And that's what we were talking about, putting in a lot of hard work for a video part, and that's what he did. He put in his heart and soul into this video part, and it shows.
We've now seen all the videos. Who are some of your standouts and why?
Man, I thought I had it all figured out till that last video right there. That's gonna throw a curveball in my standings. I'm gonna do a little more thinking about this one and figure it out.
I really like Brad Sims' part a lot, but I mean, Corey's got it all as well, so we'll see how it all goes.
There's a few in there that after just watching them, I'm gonna have to break down every little piece to these video parts because they're all so good in their own ways.
After 4 months of filming, it all comes down to this. Judges, it's time to cast your votes. Now we're gonna tally up the votes while the riders and filmers check out each other's videos for the first time. After that, it's time to hand out the medals. We've watched all the videos, and the bronze medals go to Brad Sims and Christian RIGAL. Grabbing the silver medal slot this year is Colin Varignac and Dobie. And now for the moment of truth. The winners of the 2018 Real BMX gold medals are Corey Martinez and Peter Adam. Yeah. Yes. 2018 X Games Real BMX gold medalists. Corey Martinez, what are you thinking? You're 35 years old. A lot of these guys that were in the competition grew up watching your video parts. What's it like to be standing here right now?
Man, honestly, I'm so stoked. Just to be a part of a video contest with this lineup is mind-blowing. To walk away with something like this, I never would have thought of, so it's truly an honor. So it really is. It's crazy.
And Peter Adam, back-to-back gold medalist, filmer and editor.
Well, I can't believe those words just come out of your mouth. Yeah, crazy. I mean, to get asked back again this year was really special, and then I saw the lineup of the filmers and editors and writers. Yeah, to be standing here with another gold around my neck is unbelievable, yeah.
So there you have it, the winners of the 2018 X Games Real BMX gold medals right here. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed it. To vote for Real BMX fan favorite, log on to xgames.com/realbmx. Congrats to all these guys and thanks to everybody out there for watching.